Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, first performed in 1949, is widely regarded as one of the greatest American plays of the 20th century. The story follows Willy Loman, an aging salesman struggling with fading success, financial hardship, and the painful gap between his dreams and reality. Through Willy's tragic decline, Miller examines the promises and failures of the American dream, creating a work that remains deeply relevant to audiences across generations. Miller's literary style combines realism with expressionist techniques, allowing memories, dreams, and the present to blend seamlessly on stage. This fluid structure mirrors Willy's deteriorating state of mind, revealing how his past ambitions continue to shape his present. One of the play's most distinctive motifs is the recurring sound of the flute, which evokes Willy's memories of his father, a wandering flute maker, and symbolizes a simpler, more authentic life that stands in contrast to the materialistic world he has pursued. The play explores themes of the American dream, identity, success and failure, family relationships, illusion versus reality, pride, and the search for personal dignity. Rather than presenting Willy as a conventional hero, Miller portrays an ordinary man whose hopes, flaws, and disappointments reflect universal human struggles. Death of a Salesman endures because it asks timeless questions about how success should be measured and what gives a person's life genuine meaning. The story starts with Willy Loman coming home to his Brooklyn house on a Monday night. Worn out and shaken after cutting short a sales trip. He is 63, still trying to make a living as a traveling salesman, but the work is breaking him down. His wife Linda worries that he has had another driving accident, because his recent crashes no longer seem accidental. Willy insists nothing serious happens, yet he admits that his mind keeps drifting while he drives. Linda gently urges him to ask his boss, Howard Wagner, for a local position in New York so he no longer has to travel. Willy's two adult sons, Biff and Happy, are also home. Their presence stirs up both hope and disappointment in him, especially because Biff, once the family's great promise, is now 34 and unsettled. Willy criticizes Biff for drifting from job to job and working on farms and ranches out west, but almost immediately he contradicts himself and insists Biff is not lazy at all. This pattern shows how Willy lives between two versions of reality, the painful truth in front of him and the dream he desperately wants to keep alive. Upstairs, Biff and Happy talk about their lives. Happy has a steady job in New York, but he is restless, dishonest, and empty inside. He chases women, exaggerates his importance, and dreams of moving higher in business. Biff feels even more lost. He senses that he has wasted years trying to become someone he is not. Still, the brothers imagine starting a ranch together out west, a fantasy that briefly feels like escape. Then Biff decides he will ask Bill Oliver, a former employer, for money to start a sporting goods business. Happy encourages the idea because, in the Loman family, being liked has always been treated as the key to success. As the night continues, Willy slips into memories of the past. He sees young Biff and Happy washing his car after one of his sales trips. Biff proudly admits that he has taken a football from school, and Willy laughs it off instead of correcting him. Bernard, Charlie's son, warns that Biff is failing math and needs to study, but Willy cares more about Biff's popularity and athletic promise than his schoolwork. He teaches his sons that charm matters more than discipline, and that being well-liked will carry them further than hard work. Willy's memories also reveal his insecurity. He once boasts to Linda about making large sales, but when she calculates his commission, the truth comes out. He earns far less than he claims. For a moment, he admits that people do not seem to respect him or like him as much as he wants. Linda comforts him with loyalty and tenderness, but another memory intrudes: the laughter of the woman, Willy's mistress in Boston. The affair exposes the secret guilt beneath his confidence. He gives the woman stockings while Linda mends old ones at home, and the sight of Linda repairing stockings later fills him with shame. Willy's mind moves between present and past, until Charlie comes over to check on him. Charlie offers him a job, but Willy refuses because accepting help from his neighbor wounds his pride. Willy also imagines speaking with his older brother Ben, who left home as a young man and became rich after finding diamonds in Africa. To Willy, Ben represents the bold, masculine success he believes he missed. Ben's shadow makes Willy wonder whether he chose the wrong path by becoming a salesman instead of pursuing a more concrete opportunity. Later that night, Linda tells Biff and Happy how serious Willy's condition has become. He has lost his salary and now works only on commission, while secretly borrowing money from Charlie and pretending it is his pay. Linda also reveals that Willy's car accidents are likely suicide attempts, and that she has found a rubber hose attached to the gas pipe, suggesting he may be trying to kill himself at home. Biff is shaken and angry, while Happy tries to avoid the truth. To lift Willy's spirits, Happy brings up Biff's plan to ask Bill Oliver for a loan. Willy immediately becomes excited, imagining Biff and Happy launching a business together through athletic demonstrations and publicity. The family grabs onto this dream because it feels easier than facing Willy's collapse. The next morning, Willy wakes in a hopeful mood. He imagines planting a garden and eventually moving to the country, even though the apartment buildings around the house block the sunlight. Linda reminds him to ask Howard for a non-traveling job and for money to cover the insurance payment. Willy leaves with renewed optimism because Biff and Happy have invited him to dinner at Frank's Chop House, and he believes the family may finally be turning a corner. At Howard's office, Willy's hope is crushed. Howard is more interested in his new recording machine than in Willy's request. Willy asks for a local job and lowers his salary expectations again and again, but Howard refuses. Willy tries to explain that he has given his life to the company and even helped name Howard when Howard was a baby. He tells the story of Dave Singelman, an old salesman whose buyers respected him so much that many attended his funeral. That story inspired Willy to become a salesman because he believed the career could bring dignity, friendship, and honor. But Howard does not value those memories. Instead, he fires Willy and tells him to turn to his sons for support. Afterward, Willy goes to Charlie's office where he meets Bernard, now a successful lawyer preparing to argue a case before the Supreme Court. Bernard's success forces Willy to confront a painful question. Why did Biff, who seemed destined for greatness in high school, fall apart? Bernard remembers that Biff was ready to attend summer school after failing math, but something changed after he visited Willy in Boston. Willy becomes defensive because he knows the answer. In Boston, Biff discovered Willy with the woman. That moment destroyed Biff's faith in his father and shattered the dream Willy had built for him. Charlie gives Willy money for his insurance, and once again he offers him a job. Willy refuses, still unable to accept work from a man he envies. When Willy admits that Howard has fired him, Charlie tries to make him understand that being liked is not enough. Willy leaves humiliated, clinging to pride even as his life comes apart. That evening, Biff and Happy wait for Willy at Frank's Chop House. Happy flirts with a woman named Miss Forsyth and lies about his own success, while Biff arrives with bad news. He has waited hours to see Bill Oliver, only to discover that Oliver barely remembers him. Biff realizes he has been lying to himself. He was never a salesman for Oliver, only a shipping clerk. In a moment of panic, he steals Oliver's fountain pen, which confirms for him that he cannot keep living inside the family's false version of his life. When Willy arrives, he announces that he has been fired and begs for good news to take home to Linda. Biff tries to tell him the truth about Oliver, but Willy cannot bear it. As Biff pushes toward honesty, Willy slips back into the memory of Boston, reliving the night Biff finds him with his mistress. In that memory, Biff comes to the hotel room after failing math and asks Willy to convince his teacher to pass him. But when the woman emerges from the bathroom, Biff understands the betrayal. Willy lies and tries to explain her presence, but Biff sees through him. He calls Willy a phony and gives up on summer school, college, and the future Willy imagined for him. In the restaurant, the present becomes unbearable. Biff backs down and tries to soften the truth, while Happy pretends everything is fine and denies that Willy is their father in front of the women. Biff storms out in guilt and frustration, and Happy leaves too, abandoning Willy alone in the restroom as he talks to people who are not there. Stanley, the waiter, helps him, and Willy asks where he can buy seeds. He feels an urgent need to plant something because he fears he has nothing lasting to show for his life. Back at home, Linda is furious when Biff and Happy return with flowers. She condemns them for leaving their sick father behind. Outside, Willy plants seeds in the dark while imagining a conversation with Ben about a plan to leave Biff $20,000 through life insurance. Willy believes that if he dies, the insurance money will finally give Biff a chance and prove Willy's importance through a well-attended funeral. Biff finds Willy and confronts him with the rubber hose. He tries to end the family's cycle of lies. He admits that he has stolen from jobs, that he once spent time in prison for theft, and that he is not a great man waiting for his chance. He blames Willy's inflated dreams for teaching him to reject ordinary work and ordinary truth. Biff insists that both of them are common people, not destined for greatness, and he begs Willy to let him go. The confrontation breaks Biff down, and he cries in his father's arms. Willy misreads Biff's tears as proof that Biff still loves him and may still become successful. Instead of accepting Biff's honesty, Willy turns it into one final illusion. He believes the insurance money will make Biff's future possible. After the others go to bed, Willy speaks again with the imagined Ben, then leaves the house. Linda calls after him, but he does not come back. The family hears the car speed away, and Willy dies by suicide. The story ends at Willy's funeral, where only Linda, Biff, Happy, Charlie, and Bernard attend. Linda cannot understand why no business friends come, especially after Willy spent his life believing he was known and valued. She is also devastated because the house is finally paid off, but Willy is no longer alive to live in it. Biff sees the tragedy clearly. Willy had the wrong dreams and never truly knew himself. Charlie defends him in a quieter way, explaining that a salesman survives on dreams because his identity depends on being believed in. Happy refuses Biff's conclusion and vows to continue Willy's dream in the business world. Linda, left alone for a moment, tells Willy that they are finally free, though the freedom comes too late. As the flute music returns and the surrounding apartment buildings stand over the house, Willy's life ends as a warning about the cost of chasing a dream, built on pride, illusion, and the need to be admired.